Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about Valediction, written by Sherman Alexie. Now, before I go into summary analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and/or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. Now, this short story by Sherman Alexie is very interesting. Basically, what happens is we get these two best friends, John and Pete. They've been best friends for 3 years. They have football practice together. They're always together in everything that they do. But ultimately, what happens is, they live in a very small town and everybody knows everybody. There's this grocery store where this old couple runs this grocery store. And John and Pete, one day, usually they just went into the grocery store, bought some snacks, and then paid for it and went out. But one day they decided to start stealing. And so they decided to start stealing. And what they would do is they would take some stuff, pay for some of it, and then shove their bags with other stuff, so that they can get away with it. And so that kept on going for a while, until Pete had enough. His conscience started to get to him, and he was like, I don't want to do this anymore, because they would like buy for they would take some stuff from the shelves, buy for $5, and then shove $20 worth of items from the store in their bags. And Pete reaches one day and he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. And this is after we've done this for like, for a good amount of time, for a couple of days, back and forth doing this. And Pete goes, I don't want to do this anymore. This is just criminal. We can't do it anymore. And John's like, you're weak. You're not strong. I thought you were tough. What's wrong with you? So John, he's like, I'm gonna keep going and shoplifting. Pete's like, nah, I'm not doing that anymore, and they go their separate ways. And ultimately, what happens is John gets caught. He gets arrested. He gets suspended from school. He gets kicked off the football team. The whole town hears about this and how he's a bad kid. They start calling him a bad kid and how everything went wrong with him and how he's a poor influence on Pete. They're not friends anymore. They separate from one another. They were friends for 3 years, and for 3 years they were close, buddies. But in the fourth year of high school, even at graduation, their parents didn't speak to one another, and Pete and John didn't speak to one another, and they pretty much went their separate ways. Pete continued playing on the football team, even though they used to shoplift together. The last heist didn't go so well. John got caught. Pete didn't get caught. He said he didn't do anything. John said he acted alone. In the last heist, John did act alone. And so John becomes the black sheep, and Pete goes on to have a regular life. And the last scene, they kind of see each other after they graduate. They see each other at this bonfire. Everybody's drinking, keggers. And John walks over to Pete, grabs him by his shirt, and says, I didn't, you're not who I thought you were. And Pete's like, you're not who I thought you were. And these two best friends, they're totally different people now. One is from by the community. One is a black sheep, and the other one was a good kid that was about to be corrupted by the bad kid. And yet they both were shoplifters. They both were stealing from the grocery store at some point. It's just Pete reached a point where his conscience got to him and he wanted to turn away. But John's like, nah, I'm just going to keep going and keep robbing and keep stealing. So, I mean, they are two different people, because in this instance, it shows you that Pete reached a point where he was like, enough is enough. I know what I'm doing is wrong and I'm going to stop doing it. But John, he did not have that turn of morals, of ethics. He's like, nah, I'm just gonna keep stealing. I'm just gonna keep robbing. And truly, that's the thing that separates good people from bad people, is that everybody makes mistakes in life. So everybody goes down the wrong path. It's just at some point the good people, or the people that want to be righteous, that want to be good, at some point they're like, what, this is what I'm doing is bad. What I'm doing is horrible. This is evil. I want to turn away. I want to leave this behind. But the people that are okay with it, that are bad, or the black sheep in this instance, John, he's like, nah, I'm just not gonna stop. I'm just gonna keep doing it until, well, until I, I don't, well, pretty much until I get caught, because that's what happens. He gets caught, and he has to do community service, pick up trash around the town. His friends make fun of him. Everybody looks down upon him because he just didn't want to stop shoplifting. So again, this short story shows us the choices. The choices in terms of a deeper meaning here, in terms of analysis. The choices that we make matter. The choices that we make in life, it matters. It affects our lives. It affects our behavior. It affects our relationships. It affects our friendships. And John and Pete here, they show us two different sides of the coin. These two were both bad kids at some point. These two were both high school kids. These two were two best friends. But at some point, Pete reached a point where he was like, enough is enough. I don't want to do this anymore. But John's like, nah, I'm a big man, and I'm going to keep doing what I want to do. And that was to shoplift. So it's a very interesting short story. And it leaves us in a place where these two friends that were very close at one point, they just separate. They both went their separate ways because of their life choices and how that impacted them. So Pete's life choice for turning away from shoplifting, he got to have a good graduation. He got to, graduate. He got to keep his face and keep his name. But John's name is tarnished. It's in the mud. Everybody will always see him as someone who stole from the grocery store. And again, he lives in a very small town. Everybody knows everybody. So rumors are gonna spread, and everybody's gonna know what he did. So it's a very, very different realities for both of these kids that were in the same boat at one point. But that's all I had to say about this work. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.